Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this edition of Leak Project. I'm your host, Rex Bear, and we have the legend of legends, John DeSouza, with us. John was an FBI investigator for 25 years. I've seen the plaque, literally. And he actually taught how to investigate. He taught these very detailed courses on how you can get into that mindset. And we're going to discuss that here today. This is going to be a two-part series. The first part of the discussion, we're going to talk about the ET phenomenon and how they're actually most likely interdimensional. I'm going to share some personal stories from myself, friends, and family. And then John, the information that he's compiled. He has 3 fantastic books that I would recommend getting. I have them. They're also autographed. So thank you for doing that for me, John. Clear Hearers, Extra Dimensionals, and The Para Investigators. So with his knowledge and with the life path that he's had, some incredible things have happened to John personally. It's allowed him to get to the level that he's at with knowledge now. So, John, this is just a real honor to speak with you. How the heck are you?
Oh, I'm great, Rex. It is wonderful to be here with you and your wonderful audience. You know, I always like being with you guys because you guys are a couple of steps ahead of the rest of society. Because if anybody looks at your YouTube videos and the stuff that you're working on, it is levels ahead of anything anybody else is doing. And so that's why I know that you're so far outside the regular mainstream paradigm that it's the rest of us have to catch up to you. And we have to really, connect with this kind of stuff that you're saying. And so that's why, and I'm the same way. So that's why I love being here with you. And it's great to be here with you again. Thanks.
Well, thanks, John. And folks, I actually paid John to say that. So checks in the mail. Thank you, brother. And man,
and the hardest working man in show business too. The hardest working man in show business also.
Well, actually, pretty soon. There's I just did a TV shoot for the Weather Channel, a TV series that's coming out called The Scariest Stuff on Earth. That. Yeah, that was fun. And a new TV series that's actually backed by, or it's in connection with Cross Creek Pictures. And it's called Denature. So this is hopefully going to be a 10-season series or more. But
awesome.
I'm really excited about that. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Awesome.
Great cast. Great cast.
Good, Rex. You have so much to live for. So I want the audience to join me in asking you not to go driving through the back roads of Dulce, Mexico, looking for that underground facility by yourself late at night in the wee hours of the morning at like 10 miles an hour on that road. I ask the audience to go look at that shocking video, and please join me in asking Rex not to do that anymore. It's unbelievably dangerous, and I don't want to tune in here one day and just be like, Rex is gone, and people will be like, hey, we have to go out to Dulce to find out what happened to Rex. He disappeared. So please, you got to stop doing that.
Oh man, John, you're a legend, and actually, thank you for that. It was an interesting experience, but yeah, we were talking off the air, and John's like, man, I wouldn't want to go out there with fully fortified security teams with me, heavy duty Suburbans. But it was, what I was going to say was, if I don't make it back, if you don't see me tomorrow, it means I found something. So, but anyway. So I want to talk, and I just, first of all, I would like to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, folks. Christmas is coming up, and I want to say thank you to my friends over at HistoricSilverCoins.com and Noble Gold Investments. So I just ordered a bunch of these for Christmas. These are Morgan silver coins, and they're graded. And if you use the code Leak Project, you'll get $5 off. Go to HistoricSilverCoins.com. You can get these mailed out for Christmas. Forget about the lines. Everybody wants silver and a piece of history. So great prices and different grades. So check it out, HistoricSilverCoins.com. All right. That was just a quick promotion. Thank you very much, Noble Gold Investments, for that opportunity. And so, John, this is the first, we're going to start off right off the bat, man. This is something that a very good friend of mine shared with me just a few weeks ago. And the information that he shared is pretty over the top. And it made me realize what you and I talked about with the ET phenomenon, not just being from other planets, but being interdimensional. Now, when we talked about this before, I was really skeptical because I was like, you know what, man, there's got to be more to it than that. And there's got to be ETs out there that aren't interdimensional. But the more I talk to people and the more physical evidence that is available, it certainly seems to me like, at least what we know about these extraterrestrials, are absolutely interdimensional. Now, if there are ET somewhere else in space, I don't know if they're visiting us or if it's even a possibility. So unless they can travel through these interdimensional firewalls per se, it's very fascinating. So this is what happened to my friend, and he has had years of abductions. It stopped several years ago, but what he shared with me about this one entity that was trying to inject him with something, and it was coming in and out of existence. So it was like, if you've seen the TV series Fringe, where those people can walk through walls, it was almost like that. And he says he remembers this grid oftentimes when they would take him, this grid that had, I think he said it was like greenish lines or something like that. And the person that's telling me this, first of all, he has no reason to tell me a story. He's got a very good position with what he does for work. He's not trying to get exposure, or I'm not giving his name out for a reason. Let's just put it that way. So I think I know why some of this could be happening to him, but he doesn't. A lot of people that have these experiences, John, correct me if I'm wrong here with the research you've done, their whole family seems to be abducted oftentimes. And
Very often, yeah.
his family doesn't talk about it. His kids, his parents, so they don't know anything about it. It seems to be him specifically. And I think it might be because of his work. But what do you think about what I just said there? What are your thoughts on that?
I always invite people to read the first 50 pages for free on Amazon of my book, The Extra-Dimensionals, because in those first 50 pages, you can just go and just read them for free there on Amazon. And because in The Extra-Dimensionals, at the beginning there, I show that I have received information that alien visitors are not the real ones, are not physical. They are extra-dimensional. They are or some people say interdimensional. We even had a great writer years ago who used the phrase ultra-dimensionals, but it all translates to the same thing, that these alien visitors are not physical. They are coming here from other dimensions, other levels of reality, and they are transmuting themselves into our existence for short periods of time. Is what it seems like. So, and I got this from an FBI document that is now declassified, and I show it. I show it in my book. I show it in my presentations because anybody can go and read it or even download it. It's very accessible today, and I think millions of people now to date have actually downloaded this document. It's called the Smoking Gun Memorandum, and it is from an FBI agent who had an informant that he said was supernormal, which was an old-timey word in 1947. It was an old-timey word for paranormal. And his informant turned out was supposedly, according to context, was an alien visitor, and told him that alien visitors are coming here, and UFOs also are kind of like a separate form of life, and are also coming here from other dimensions, and they are not physical in the sense that we are, and they are searching for places that they can settle in physically someday, and that, also along with other clues, have led me to the final conclusion that all alien visitors are not physical. And I was being asked about this the other day. Then what about the abduction experiences? I've talked extensively with Travis Walton and others who have had legitimate abduction experiences. And so the other day, somebody was asking me about this. So how do the abduction experiences work? And including, I had an experience which was very similar that I also include in my book that I have to explain as well. And here's what I came to finally was, I believe that these alien visitors, when there is an abduction experience, what's happening is the person is being translated to some other state of being rather than a purely physical one. They believe what they're going through is a completely physical experience. But if you talk to people like John Keel and several others as well, or Jacques Vallée, who have studied all these experiences quite a bit, as I have, uh, they come to the same conclusion that abduction experiences are more like spiritual experiences, where the physical body is temporarily translated into that sort of spiritual milieu, which means it's not like you leave your body, though. Your entire body is transmuted, it is translated to this sort of non-physical state where you exist with the alien visitors during that experience. And that's to answer your friend's experience, Rex. That's my final conclusion that I came to on these experiences, because they do seem, they are in a large part kind of dreamy. And this is how John Keel used to explain them as well. There's a dreamlike quality to them, to those experiences as well. And that would account for the person being translated to a different state when these things occur. And because the overall conclusion that I've come to is that there really aren't any physical alien life out there. And they're not coming from other planets. There's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. Not in our physical universe. There's nothing out there. Of course, there are like ruins and shattered civilizations that we see the remnants of on other planets, on the moon as well, and on Mars and other planets. We see these remnants because apparently there was a time in pre-Adamic history. There was a time when alien visitors were able to be here physically very easily, and they were all over the place. But something changed in ancient times. Something, I don't know what it is, but something changed apparently, because the alien visitors aren't out there anymore. They're not there. We see the ruins, we see the remnants, we see these structures that NASA works so hard to erase on all the photos that they put out, all the imagery that they put out. They're always erasing all that stuff, but they can't get it all, of course, because we're talking about planets. So they can't get everything. So if through private services like Google Maps and Google Mars, Google Moon, if you look long enough, you can, of course, find these ruins, these sort of structures that are left over from a time when the alien visitors were physical, when they could be out there. Or so that's my thesis. That's what I believe, and that's what I write about and I present everywhere I go, because the reality of alien visitors is not one that goes from us towards outer space. It's one that goes from us sideways towards other dimensions, other levels of existence. That's what it is.
No, let's talk about that for a minute, because some people have some very physical ailments or physical evidence on their body after they have these experiences. And
That's right.
one could say, hey man, if you get hypnotized and you get hypnotized good enough, then if somebody says that makes you feel like you get whacked on your arm or something, like you can get a bruise on your arm and not even have anything happen. You can go from being sober to drunk, or drunk to sober. They could even test your blood and see, depending on how good that guy can hypnotize you, or that gal can hypnotize you, it'll change your physiology. But with that being said, there is absolutely physical evidence of certain abductions, and then also these microchips. And folks, I want to say thank you for joining us. If what happens is, John and I were talking off the air, and this entire presentation is going to be available at leakproject.com for free. It's going to be available for everybody for free. So John and I are going to do like a part one of this full presentation. So make sure to join us afterwards at leakproject.com. You can watch it for free and get the full presentation, the full menu. Now, so I do want to ask you though, the physical evidence, if it's just a spiritual thing.
Well, the thing is, going from physicality to a non-physical state, a spiritual state, or whatever other terms we can say for the non-physical state, is a spectrum. It's not a hard separation. It is a spectrum that goes from the physical reality to the spiritual or non-physical reality. That's why when you have lucid dreams, you will have physical symptoms from the lucid dream that you have. Like if you were dreaming you were in the Arctic, in the freezing snow, you'll wake up and you'll freezing. You'll be freezing. You could even have your extremities turning blue in the physical, in the real, as we say. And that has happened to me many times, and that happens to many people, going from the dream state, which is just another alternate non-physical reality. It's all it is. It's not really something that isn't real, as they say, but it's just another altered state. And the same thing, and that is why this you can have people who go through abduction experiences, and they have physical symptoms. They have physical things that they come back with. Sometimes they have implants. Sometimes they have bruises that exactly match the devices that they describe were being used on them in the abduction experience, and they will carry those bruises back to show that match up perfectly to the device that they'll make a drawing of to show you what it was. And that's because this is a spectrum. It's a continuum. That bridge that goes from the non-physical to the other state, the altered state that they are in when they are with the alien visitors. So yeah, those implants, for some reason, they are able to translate to full physical reality. And I'm not sure how that works, but it does work, because I've seen some of the implants these people have, and it is amazing. And it has even, but what's funny is the implants very often are not purely physical, because they can't be explained as just a physical object. Because as we saw Dr. Roger Lear, with Dr. Roger Lear, whenever he would do a surgery to try to remove some of these implants, it turned out they were some kind of life. They were alive somehow, because they would move away from his forceps as he was trying to grab them. They would actually be swimming, but they appear to be nothing more than pieces of metal, but yet they weren't. You see, so that's part of that continuum between the physical and an altered state of being, because that thing came back and it wasn't purely physical either. It was something more than just physical, because it looked to be just a hunk of metal, but it turned out to be like something more, something imbued with life. It was some kind of spiritual life as well. So that's one of the tip-offs that show you that there's something going on here that isn't just a bright line separation between the physical and the non-physical state.
Right. So it's like if everything's a vibration, somehow these things can condense and manifest in the physical realm, maybe through the DNA. There's some type of ethereal connection. If you research Tesla's just as sayings about study frequencies, then you'll learn so much more with science. So that's very interesting. And like I was telling you off the air, I've also got another very good friend that for several years was having these experiences. And one time she even had to drink this metallic goo. And she has been abducted, her mom, her sister, some of her kids, if not all of her kids. And one time her mom, she showed me an image of this. She woke up and she had a giant handprint on her side with 6 fingers. How bizarre is that, man? So I just wondering.
Bust out those pictures.
Yeah,
She
I'll
had to have
absolutely
taken pictures.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
so
awesome.
do you think that could be like Anunnaki even?
Of course, because these things all have things involved that are way beyond what we expect, what we think we know. So yeah, of course it could be Anunnaki. They could be creatures. They could be chimera creatures. I saw you doing an excellent series on these chimera creatures the other day, but of course I'm talking about the ancient chimera creatures that were worshipped as gods during the time of the Anunnaki, when they were here and perhaps on other planets, pre-Adamic times, and they were creatures that were so strange and different that we have no idea how they were created or what they were, but they were used to reign over whatever form of humankind was existing at that time. And yeah, so that could definitely be something that had to do with the Anunnaki. And you know, and I believe that these Anunnaki type creatures will be returning someday, and I believe they will. And so we need to educate ourselves about that and get ready to be able to encounter any kind of weird or strange life that may present itself to us in the future.
So, John, what do you think happened, man? I mean, what would cause so much damage that it would wipe out virtually all advanced civilizations in the universe?
I think what happened was that true humans were created by the creator force, and true humans in the form of what we are now. And the creator force knew that these decided to create us with this spark of divinity that we have, that really gives us eternal life. Eternal life, it makes us spiritually indestructible with a right of return to creator force. We have this invisible silver cord that will give us a right of return to creator force, to the source. And that imbues us with all kinds of privileges and abilities to do things beyond this short physical lifetime, of course. Now, the problem is that I believe there were many other races of creatures that consider themselves way superior to true humans, to real humans, and were very upset at the incredible gifts that were given to these Adamic, let's call it this Adamic race of creatures that they don't have, because these other races were created separately, let's say, from creator force. And so because of that, they didn't have that same spark that we have and that same right of return. So there was a canopy was created, and this canopy may have been as simple as just being time and space as we know it. The same time and space that gives us, make sure that our physical cells have short lives, and then we're out of here and we're on to the next thing. That might not have existed before, this matrix this time and space that we exist in right now. And it may have been created just to protect us from these other races that had a terrible feelings towards us, let's put it that way, or just considered themselves way superior to us. So I think something like that is what happened. I think that creator force created some sort of canopy to put over reality, so that we would be protected and be able to live out our lives and do what he created us for. That's what I think.
And just interesting to think about what could have taken place that would be so catastrophic. Researching the thunderbolts of the gods is quite interesting, because the planets can have so much effect with plasma. So maybe if the planets got knocked off of alignment or something, but that would only explain this solar system. But who knows even what's outside of the Kuiper Belt, man. It's definitely far out. The firmament isn't here, it's out there. NASA found it. They're like, this plasma wall, what is it? Very interesting. Wow. So, I mean, where do we go from here, John? I mean, would you say that we're even close to be able to compete with these guys?
No, but it doesn't matter, because these other races are not really, they're not allowed to interfere with us. They don't have that ability on any on any large level. They're not allowed to interfere with us because if they were, we'd all be gone already. We'd all be gone. Even the fact that they are extra dimensionals, if they all had the ability to, because point of fact, we're also extra dimensional as well. We have spiritual component to ourselves that is actually our real self. It's the physical. It's the physical that's the actual extra add-on. So so it is, so they can contact us, the extra dimensionals. They can shift their states and they can contact us, but they cannot bother us. They cannot disturb us unless we give our permission for that. This is just a system that was set up. These are the laws that I observe, the laws of the universe that I observe from having looked at all of these cases and having looked at all of these situations across history that have occurred. Because if that wasn't true, if those laws were not in operation, then all of us would be gone, because these other races are so appear to be so superior to us in abilities and power that we would just be wiped out if all things were equal, which they're not. So that's why I think we're safe, and we are able to function and live towards our purposes and what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point, and that's some hope right there, John. Because, like you said,
Yeah.
they're so advanced, but I know people that are literally frightened to the point of they'll start shaking and getting emotional when they talk about some of these experiences, and you can tell pretty much when people are genuine and when somebody's just trying to make something sound exciting from they've heard before. Like, I'm not going to get into it, but I almost did it, but I didn't.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not. All right. I'm not going to. All right. They came back from time. So anyway, okay. So where do we go from here, John? With all this information, man? I mean, do you think that we should just really focus on ourselves, like you said? Because if we don't allow them to get in, what do you tell people that literally they have to function in a sense of they almost have to have a different personality because they're so scared to go home and go to sleep at night because of these experiences? There's a lot of people out there that are dealing with it right now.
I always tell them they have to find spiritual help, find shamanic help. They have to find they have to find some kind of spiritual guidance because that's the only thing that can combat that kind of thing. Jesus said more than any other saying, he said, "Fear not, fear not." So that was one of his major commandments, and I think we always have to find a way to follow that advice, that command, to fear not. That is the ultimate, as Frank Herbert said, fear is the mind killer. It is the one thing that destroys us, destroys our minds. And so we must always come up with devices to combat fear so that we are never in fear. As a matter of fact, we know that we're in triumph and we have to pursue that. So I always advise people like that to find some spiritual guidance and go with that, even if it has even shamanic guidance. There are many people out there. I mean, I know because I do presentations with them who give guidance to people and help people to get rid of what do you call parasites and implants and things of that sort. And they're out there and they help a lot of people. And people need to get rid of fear, especially now, because we are coming up against a massive, as we get closer to disclosure ourselves, we're also coming up the cabal. I don't know if I'm good, if it's okay to say cabal, or the elite powers in control. The elite powers in control. I like to say that they are ratcheting up this massive campaign to take over ufology and to basically ratchet up fear. It's exactly what you were talking about for all of the population against alien visitors and so forth. that is the whole point of their campaign, and they are using the mainstream media to help them. They are using intelligence operatives, the clowns in America. They are using all of these powers that they have, that the cabal has at their command, and they are. And you may have seen part of this campaign. Many of your viewers, there's some kind of academy out there that is sending operatives to tell people that one time they were sitting in front of a child's balloon. There was a big giant balloon on the screen. It was from a child's birthday party. It was a number one. It was a giant number one. And they were standing in front of that screen and saying, this is possibly evidence of alien life out there in our skies. And it was crazy. And, you know, they've got famous celebrities working with them. And they are part of, and here's the thing, if you're an investigator, you can spot these little clues that mean a lot. And one of the clues that means a great deal and shows who all are involved in this massive disinfo operation is language. They all use this code language, and one of the code language, if you hear this, you know the people are part of this operation. It's unknown, AAV and AAT, unknown, anomalous aerial vehicle and anomalous aerial threat. Now, it's a term that from the Navy that the Navy used, but nobody really used it until these videos started being put out. These videos showing a bunch of drones, advanced military drones, flying around the ocean, and they started using those videos to say this is evidence of possibly that we are not alone. That's another mind control phrase that they use that comes directly from the clowns in America. This is evidence that we are not alone. See, that way they're not blatantly saying, you know, these are UFOs, but they're saying something that's going to catch in the mind and make you believe, wow, whoa, yeah, I guess it is evidence that we're really not alone. And so they're using this phrase also. So that's one of the phrases they're using. Another phrase is the anomalous aerial threat. Now, you want to know who used that phrase originally? Talk about the deep state and the cabal. Sorry, I don't know. I didn't want to say deep state. The cabal. You want to know who used that language? No less a personage than Hillary Clinton. She used that language, anomalous aerial threat, when she was running for some office somewhere, I guess.
Something,
and
right?
She was, yeah. And another one that used that language, who's interested in this area, apparently, John Podesta, her campaign manager. He literally used the phrase. Oh, am I good? Okay. You can hear me?
I was just saying you're right. I was like, because I remember that there's a big thing on Netflix about it even, isn't there?
That's right. That's right. Now, then again, these people mark themselves by the language they use. Then the next person to use that language, anomalous aerial threat, was the biggest swamp monster there's ever been, a senator from Nevada known as Harry Reid, who suddenly was also very interested in the UFO program, okay? Then after that, this group, something about an academy, some kind of academy, then they started using, and they had some rock star, I guess he was a rock star with some group I'd never heard of before, but then they got him, and then he started saying anomalous aerial threat. Okay, so now they're all using this language. They're trying to take over basically all of ufology, and they were helped by CNN and Fox News. But I thought Fox News were the good guys. No, they're not. Fox News they are owned and controlled by the same people who own and control CNN and all the others. Were you going to say something,
Now,
Rex,
wait a
about that?
second. They love us, John. They love
Yeah,
us
right.
so much. They love
Right.
us dearly. They love us
Yeah, yeah,
dearly, like deer.
yeah.
And I wanted to say
Like deer.
we're gonna take this to the next level on the website at leakproject.com. So I think this is a perfect segue for that. We're gonna get deep. So it's going to be very intense. You may want to buckle up, and you may want to have a cold beverage next to you on this part 2. And you may want to have, I don't know. I mean, geez, some munchies. Just make sure you're in a comfortable spot, because it's like what John shared with me off the air that we're going to be looking at leakproject.com in very shortly. It's going to be free, folks. Go to leakproject.com. You don't even have to be a premium member at leakproject.com to watch this. I think it's that important. It's like mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. I'm going to leave it at that. So, folks, you're amazing. Thank you for being here with us. And definitely get this right here. So it's like the trio combo pack. Let me share this with you. Let me do a quick screen share. You need to get this now. Here we go, right here. Clear hearers, extra dimensionals, and the para investigators. This is directly from over 25 years of information and knowledge, and just a wonderful person, John. I really appreciate this. Thanks, man. This is awesome. Anything else you want to share with us before we go? Now we're not leaving here. We're just going to, we're just stopping the YouTube. And we're doing the rest on Leak Project. Anything else you want to share with the audience before we?
Yeah, I'm getting some texts from Sean Hannity. Listen. When I say that Fox News is ultimately controlled by the same people as CNN,
Sean Hannity texting you.
Fox News still has good elements in it. I mean, it's the only news service, channel, whatever, that does have some positive elements that are allowed to exist on there, because they want to pretend that they are the opposition for America. They want to pretend that they are on the good side. So they do have to leave good elements on there that are actually, in favor of the American people and so forth. So so there are elements on there that are good, like Sean Hannity and the other kid and Laura Ingraham and stuff like that. So that's not, but ultimately the bosses, the network, the bosses at the top are still running a game. They're still running a game on us. They are still on the important things. They still agree with the other side. They still agree with CNN and all the rest of the cabal. So that's what I mean when I say that Fox ultimately is controlled by the same elements. So I just wanted to say that, because it's not. I didn't want to impugn the good people that exist over there at that network. With a broad brush. That's it. That was it.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for that. Language is so powerful, and sometimes when you use absolutes or ultimisms, it's like that. Yeah, very specific, especially in a worldwide web like this. It's amazing. I can say one word a little bit off, and I'll get 50 people that'll correct me. So iron sharpens iron, man. Iron sharpens iron. And really looking forward to this information you're going to share with us. You've even got a slideshow presentation you put together. So, folks, thank you for being here with us. And be excellent to each other. And I just was going to say also, I don't think you heard me at the beginning, but my friends over at Historic Silver Coins, there's some of these left right now. These are historic Morgan silver coins. They're from like the 1800s. They're very limited. And if you use the code Leak Project, when you go to historicsilvercoins.com, you'll get $5 off. And remember, Christmas is coming up. I mean, I'm telling you, lines, you get them something they don't want, they throw it away. You get them a gift card, they usually don't use it. You know what I'm talking about. Get them some silver and get them this.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
You'll be glad you did. All right.
Big project rules.
Hello.
Greatest.
I paid John to say that. All right, everybody. We'll see you soon. Be at leakproject.com. Be there. Be there. All right, man. We're still okay. This is part 2. Now, I'm going to let you pull up the slideshow presentation, and I'm just going to kick back and absorb this knowledge, and hopefully, I'll ask the right questions at the right time, John.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent.
And do you think we can compile this into about 30 minutes?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, great.
Definitely. I have sections, and I just wanted to do. Well, now that let me see. Let me just check real quick. Okay,
sure. Absolutely.
I've got this. I've got this. Trying to see. Okay. I know what I'm doing. Okay. Yes.
You always know what you're doing, man.
Are we? And so we're
We're still
going ahead
recording.
right
We're
now.
going. Yeah, this is part two. This is
Okay.
exclusive for Leak Project. So
All right.
say whatever you want.
All right. Well, I want to thank Rex for allowing me to take over the screen and show a portion of this stuff that I bring to people all over the country, and some of this stuff I bring it to people, and people are just aghast. I bring it to people to show how much control the information system has. Why it is that those of us who listen to people say, well, if the aliens were real, they just land on the White House lawn, and they'd say, hey, what's going on? What's happening? Well, I'm here to tell you that if that happened tomorrow, we're under such an information control system that it could be kept from us. Okay. And you may not believe me, but that's why I show people this. Let me go into this right here. Okay. So now I'm sharing, right? Here we go. Folks, this is something I show all over the country and the world, actually. This alien life is not a question of interstellar travel. It is a question of portals and wormholes. Now, is the sound working on this?
Oh, the sound from the news? No.
No?
No.
Okay, then maybe I need to take out my, let me take out my fan. Let me try it this way.
Video out of New York. No, this is not a scene from an upcoming Independence Day movie or an actual alien invasion. New York police say it's a transformer explosion at a power plant in Queens, lighting up the New York City skyline in a brilliant blue. No one was hurt in the explosion. The explosion caused some power outages, including LaGuardia Airport, but they didn't last very long. The New York Fire Department determined it was caused by equipment malfunction. Now, the first thing that I want to draw attention to,
ladies and gentlemen, this happened last year, December 27th, over New York City at 2 in the morning. It was around 2 in the morning, 2 a.m. It was black out. It was midnight. It was black as midnight outside. The sky was black, just a few stars. And suddenly a portal opened in the sky over New York City. A giant portal opened up and it lit up the sky bright light blue, like it was the middle of the afternoon. People were freaking out, and lots of people got this on their cell phones, and there's dozens of cell phone videos on YouTube, and I'm sure YouTube takes them down, but I'm sure they're put back up by now. So that's what this is about. Just listen.
Is the video captured of what happened. Meanwhile, they splice in video that you see here of some kind of event supposedly taken during the same thing. They combine those images together to make it seem like, oh, regular people got video of the close-up transformer explosion. But that is how deceptive and sneaky they really are. This is what a real transformer explosion looks like. This video was captured last year in New Brunswick. As you can see, it doesn't go on for as long as this event did, and it doesn't light up the entire sky with a bright bluish green. It is a warm yellowish glow, and it is a local light that definitely does not light up the entire sky, and it extinguishes very quickly.
The local news in New York City reported, because as people always say, well, the news would have to report something like this. They'd have to. Well, yeah, the local news reported this for like 10 seconds on local news. But what they did was there was an explosion on the ground of a of a transformer, which burned yellow. And the news reported that, oh, the electrical transformer blew up, and that lit up the sky blue. That's what happened. Well, the problem is the portal had been up there for 20 minutes or half an hour before the transformer blew up. Plus, transformer explodes yellow. It doesn't explode blue. So it made no sense, but it doesn't matter. Local news reported it. They used some stock footage of an old transformer explosion, and they put it in the reporting, and then it was reported that way everywhere. Well, here's the other part. Here's the other part to the puzzle. People all over New York City who were out, at like 2:30 in the morning, who happened to be out, all took videos of the portal. They all took it. And you couldn't see it with the naked eye, but when you examine the photos afterward, you could see UFOs coming out of the portal on the pictures. Not with the naked eye, you couldn't see them, because I watched videos of it, lots of videos of this. You can't see it with naked, but on the pictures, you can see it. And even sometimes on the videos, as you'll see, sometimes you can't see it. Caramba. Here's another angle of the same incident.
So quickly. Plus, I also want to know what is seen flying out of this bright area in the sky. Could it be that perhaps we are being visited by extraterrestrials? Could it be that perhaps we are being visited by another dimension? Or could it be that these are experiments being made right in front of our eyes? What if this is a government experiment that was out of control? The quickest thing to say is, hey, it was an electrical fire. Well, last time I checked, this is what an electrical fire looks like. It's always red and black from the smoke. I've never once seen a bright blue sky due to an electrical fire. So what is happening here? It's very scary, but I think that we finally have made contact. It is here, ladies and gentlemen. The proof is here. It happened right in front of our eyes and we haven't even noticed. We have not even noticed. Now, what should we be doing? I want to be prepared in every way possible. We don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Can you see that
from
coming
this
out of
moment on? 2019 is going to be a very interesting year. I want to play this over and over again, slower, so that you can see what I see. I'm going to slow it down to the speed of maybe half or 1/4 of the regular speed.
You're talking about it at the 9 o'clock position, right?
Out of this area.
I saw it.
It almost looks as if something actually opened, some type of portal. As you can see there, you can actually notice something, actually a bright light. And then from that light comes this vessel.
There it is.
So many questions can
There
be
it is.
asked from here on.
What is it?
What is in the vessel? Could this be connected to time
See
travel?
moving?
That's another theory.
I can
that
see it.
have.
Yeah,
And you notice
absolutely.
how even the
Very
shadow in the
possible.
background
Could it be
is in
that
the
we are
shape
seeing ourselves from the future?
of a
Or could
traditional
it be
sort
that
of
this is
UFO?
also
Right.
Mothership. There's this
interdimensional
weird shadow in
portal
the background.
that has opened? And if so, what other creatures or what other dangers, what other things or beings could travel through that
I mean, I can
portal?
see it. I mean, but could it just be a bird?
The answer is yes. You should be. You've
Well-
seen it in front of your eyes. You guys have seen multiple recordings of
Smoke it.
this. You have seen it all over the place. In fact, if you go to the Con Edison
That's a
tweet,
fast bird.
you can clearly see, and I'll link
So,
the tweet.
so what are you showing us here, John? I mean, what are we?
Now, even the Port Authority took a picture and put it on their website, Port Authority of New York City, to say, "Oh, folks, there's nothing going on here." And even in their picture that they put on the city website, that where they were saying nothing's happening, nothing's happening. You can see the same object. Oops. You can see the same object coming through there.
So quickly, being on top and wake up. They need to.
So it's like they're doing psychology, kind of like they're on people, on the masses.
I believe that these are aliens. Or that there is something flying in the sky. You can see it.
I mean, it just appears as a, I don't know, circular object.
Right.
A sphere, like a sphere.
It looks like a big sphere. Yeah. But I mean, but are you, what I'm asking is like, so I'm looking at this footage and they show it, but then the media comes out and they'll show a picture of it intentionally, but then they'll say there's nothing there. So it just seems to me like it's like a conditioning where they're attempting to make us believe in aliens, but then they're not, but they are.
No, they are actually terrified for us to believe that these portals are anything at all, because the local news is given this script to say that a transformer exploded and there is no portal. There is no portal. It's just there's just transformer exploded, and the transformer exploding created the lighting up effect of the sky. That's it. So they're saying that there is no portal at all. But when they take pictures, even the New York Times takes pictures, you can see the portal clearly in the sky, and you can see the object coming out of there. And the other thing about that is that something that you were saying earlier, I saw you saying that on another thing, how most UFOs are outside of our range of vision. And so this is something I tell people all the time. They're just not visible to us. They're outside of the bandwidth of what we can see. So whenever you are able to see one, it usually means something's gone wrong. There's some kind of malfunction or something's gone wrong. And usually there's in my experience, there's dozens more that are traveling the same route that the one you can see is traveling. But you can't see all of those because they're outside our range of vision. That's how I see it. So when I see one, I figure there's a lot more of them around. So now here's what I found out. This is happening in other major cities around the world as well. And every single time, there's some kind of beam that comes out of the sky and blows up something on the ground, blows up a transformer or a gas station or something of that sort. And then so that, because they're concerned about this portal, and this is my investigative conclusion, that the cabal is concerned about people seeing these portals, seeing these UFOs, so they are using some kind of devices to blow things up on the ground whenever this happens, so that they can make their minions say, oh, it's just a transformer that blew up.
Several years ago, I watched an event it was either Dallas or Houston. I think it was Houston, actually, where there was dozens of these transformers that were going off in the city. And it looked like a light show almost. It was just unbelievable. I was watching it and I was just going, this is fascinating. I've never seen anything like it. I'm wondering if there's a connection there. And so this is,
or that could have been a distraction from
right,
something.
Right, but I didn't see the other colors though. I didn't see. This is amazing. This right. Could be like, this is Stargate kind of stuff here, John. I mean,
right. Exactly.
They could be coming in from anywhere.
Exactly. Well, and if you think this is something, well, take a look at this. This happened 2 days later, 1 day earlier, right around the same time actually, in Kenner, Louisiana. And, you can see it was reported on local news, again, for like 5 seconds. And then it was buried and never shown again. But the people in this scene are terrified. And you can see the we don't, in this clip, we don't get to see the portal, because the people who were filming were concentrated on these dudes, these directed energy weapons that were attacking the town of Kenner on the ground. They're trying to blow up the gas station. But you can see everything's lit up blue. It's the middle of the night.
That's crazy.
Where is this, John? Oh, Los Angeles?
Kenner, Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Kenner, Louisiana.
Dude, that looks
Again,
like directed energy weapons. Like they're
exactly.
something from a satellite or a giant
Exactly.
mirror.
Yeah. And it's 2 in the morning, just like New York City. They don't want people to see the portal.
We thought we were late to the party.
And those teenagers on the ground, they're kind of trying to have fun with it, but they are scared to death, because this is an attack. It's an attack because they don't want anyone to see the portal. But everything's lit up blue. You can see it's light blue when it's 2 in the morning. But people are more concerned about these friggin' rays getting them, that are trying to blow things up on the ground. And it looks like they got the gas station. That's what they're trying to get. But usually they go for the transformers.
Do you think that could be like the Rothschilds or some very powerful bloodline that's seeing this take place? So they've got access to these technologies, and they're telling their personnel, they're saying, hey, well, drop the gauntlet right now. We've got this area where this portal's being opened, so use these directed energy weapons on this specific location. Like, who else would do that? Would it be our military that would do that, or?
No, it's only the people who want to destroy us would be doing this. It is the cabal, and they are the only ones who have control of these space-based directed energy weapons. That's how I see it, because they're the only ones with a motive, a method, and the opportunity to do this. And they're the only ones who need that distraction, because whatever's in the portals, they don't want us to have contact. That's what they're desperate about. Now, if you think that was something, take a look at this. This also happened in India. In January. Sao Paulo, Brazil, again in January. In Mexico City, Mexico, in January again. Crossville, Tennessee, and South Sweden as well. Here is Maracaibo, Venezuela. Here we have it. January again. Everything lit up blue.
Overnight, the New York City sky lit up in a supernatural shade of blue.
Oh my God. What is that? That looks gnarly.
Look at the sky. Well, that doesn't look good.
India. Sao Paulo, same thing. Brazil. Mexico City, Mexico. Middle of the night. You see how everything's lit up blue?
Well, what if the blue is just a precursor to these explosions? Like, what if it's this? You know, I'm just asking questions.
Right, but look there. You can see the portal in Crossville, Tennessee, clearly. And the portals are there in those cities. They appear for half an hour, 40 minutes, until then, only then, somebody calls somebody and the rays start coming down. It's the timing that tells you everything.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so it's not minutes later, it's not seconds later, it could be 10 to 30 minutes later.
Right, because apparently this is not an immediate science. Using these rays to destroy stuff on the ground.
Project Bluebeam?
Well, I thought Bluebeam was for holograms and things similar to holograms.
Okay, so it is. It is. If there's more to the story, though.
I think it's directed energy weapons.
That looks like directed energy weapons. Absolutely. It looks like some type of microwave beam that's very condensed and it's just frying everything in its sight.
Yeah. And
dude, hold on. This is funny. I've looked at this same footage when I was being interviewed via the Scariest Stuff on Earth. This specific clip, they had me make an observation on. That is so cool.
So tell me, what did you think? Because I was sent this recently.
Play it again.
People told me that they said this fits under what I'm talking about with the portal, because there is a portal in this cloud, this red cloud. And they told me there's no volcano there. This is not an erupting volcano. It's just, and they said there's a portal in there and you can actually see a shadow inside of it of some kind of mothership. And then they said also, you can also see UFOs coming out of it as well. So that's why.
Yeah. The official story is that it's some type of, it's a cloud. It's just basically a specific type of thunder cloud. And then, so I looked at this. Greg Allison looked at this. He's a rocket scientist, also contractor at NASA. And then a gentleman by the name of Jose looked at this. He used to be in the military. Now he's a comedian. He's also a pilot. And I mean, dude, I don't know. To me, it looked like it was cloaking some type of craft. That was the analysis. Right. That I made. These people are going up there taking pictures of it, and they're stopping them in their tracks.
Yeah, I think it's cloaking a portal that the crafts are coming through.
Oh, the portal. Bingo. Okay.
That's what I think. And if that guy's from NASA, I don't trust him.
Well, actually, let me tell you about Greg. Greg is a stud. He is a contractor, so he's not actually a public servant for NASA, and he's very outspoken. And he looks like a combination of Santa and Odin. And I've spent some time with him out in California. I've met him personally. He was at the LeakCon event, actually, 2019. Greg Allison. So he's the real deal. He's sometimes gets nervous about how long he's going to have that opportunity at those that always give us a straight answer. So just to put, he has a Guinness Book of World Record. He has a record. He's a record holder for launching rockets into space that he built in his backyard.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a smart dude. He's a smart dude. But anyway, yeah. So I know what you're saying though about the rest of those guys, like the actual public servants for always a straight answer. They love us dearly, John.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is awesome. Oh, another thing I was going to say too, that one footage you showed where it looked like something just shot out, right? I was looking at they showed us this volcano footage that had a similar craft that just it skirmed right past the top of the volcano, just like that.
That happens in volcanoes all over the world. When volcanoes happen to be going off, people capture UFOs coming out of the volcanoes, active volcanoes. It's insane. And that actually goes in well with the theory that's been gaining a lot of traction in the last few years, that UFOs are actually an inner Earth phenomenon, not an outer space phenomena, that they are actually possibly all coming from inner Earth, which really seems to me more believable than that they are coming from outer space. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing. The volcano phenomena, which, I mean, it just seems crazy. You would have something that we think of as solid. And again, I don't think UFOs are solid. I think they are something like what we understand as plasma.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, the inner Earth thing, there's the more information, the more research I do, John, I feel that especially since the late 40s, the majority of these flying saucers that that have been spotted and these abductions and stuff, I think these beings are inner Earth, man. And I feel like the genetic manipulation that is going on, these abductions and stuff, maybe it's so that they can be in this physical realm. Maybe it is a way for them to have a biological body so that they can interdimensionally be in this fractal or in this vibrational frequency, man. It's definitely, and Jack Parsons, JPL, Project Gas Buggy, the nuclear explosions, the nuclear testing, the amount of cow mutilations that they discovered in the 50s and 60s. What if these beings were testing the radiation of these cows close to these blast sites to see how much radiation and the cause and effects? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's very possible. And at this point, I think it's more believable that all alien visitors and UFOs are coming from inner Earth than from outer space, because they're just not coming from outer space. They're not arriving, and we're not seeing them. We're not detecting them. SETI has received nothing. And yet we're seeing UFOs all over the Earth. And for them to be coming out of live volcanoes and coming out of the oceans, that is a common phenomenon. And that fits in a lot better with the inner Earth thesis of all of ufology. And again, it's not something that's going to be welcomed by conventional ufology, because they all want to just talk about Roswell, and they want to talk about, physical alien life and just the way that they see it. So it's hard to really see that the way it is.
Well, John, I would love to speak with you for another 8 hours, man. You've got so much information. I'm hoping we can do another podcast soon. I've actually got another presentation like right now, and I'm going to tell them to hang off for a little bit until we get finished. But can we do another one soon and add to this? Because you're blowing my mind, dude. This is like next level. This is next gen. You say I'm next gen, but what you're showing us right now, this is the stuff. This isn't the fluff, John. You're showing us the stuff.
And it's stuff that's going on right now. It's happening right now. Not in 1947 with Roswell, not in 1980, but it's happening now. And so we need to address this. We need to look at this stuff, really. But in the meantime, I'm supposed to, my manager is yelling at me here. I'm supposed to shout out Rick Garzanetti, because he's a good guy, helps me with a lot of stuff. Also, I'm supposed to say that I'll be on Jenny McCarthy's radio show tomorrow, Wednesday the 11th at 10:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, I'm supposed to tell people to look for me in Orlando, Florida, Codes of Awakening, January 10th to the 12th. I'll be there with Jason Quick, Brad Johnson, myself, and also always go to johntamabooks.com, buy directly from the author. Use code FBI for a 20% discount. And those are awesome. The admin things I gotta say. But yeah, this is crazy stuff that we need to expose to more people to get them ready, and the main reason is not just for comradeship or to help each other with these problems. It's to prepare people, because there are some mighty, great deceptions coming in this specific area that are coming really soon. And they're coming sooner than we want to think, but they are coming, and they're coming real fast. Because if you look at my next slide there, oh, I'm still sharing. Good, because this was the last panel I wanted to show. There are people who are bringing forward some incredible, massive deceptions. And just think about it this way. Think about 9/11 happening again, but using UFOs on a massive scale destruction that involves millions of people across the earth. That's the kind of deception that we're looking at that's coming soon, because they need to galvanize, the cabal needs to galvanize us behind them. And so they are moving forward with this massive deception operation that is going to be bigger than anything we've ever seen before in our lives.
Wow. And John, do you think that maybe in the next 7 to 10 days, I could get you back on Leak Project exclusive and we could do that political slideshow? That's huge, man. That's like, what, folks, your minds are going to be like, what do you say? 7 to 10 days? Can we do it?
Yes. I think we better, because all my predictions usually come true within a short window. And so we need to get it out there before it happens.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, then sooner than later, folks, what you're about to hear in this next podcast that I do with John about the possibility of a candidate in the politics arena that is, you're going to say, what? Oh yeah, that makes sense. But until you hear this, you never would have thought of this, and this could be very real. So we'll talk to you about it soon. And thanks again, John. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Rex. Always awesome being with you, man. Take
Cheers.
care of you. Stay safe, dude.
I will. And I do have laser beams. I have laser beams that come out of my eyeballs whenever people try and mess with me. And folks, be the change you want to see. The world needs you now more than ever.